Well, good afternoon. I am Eric Greenspan, and it is time for our Studemy webinar. And today we are going to do a webinar that we did once before. It's a bit different, and it's focused on the next two events coming up in the accounting and bookkeeping industry, QB Connect and ACCOUNTEX. And the purpose of our event is to get you ready for those. So this event is called How to Conference. And as I mentioned, this is specific to those two events, but it can be for any event. Let's get started. First, let me tell you who I am. I'm Eric Greenspan. I am the founder and CEO of both Studemy and 74 Systems. I'm also an Untitled hero, and which just means I'm very, very organized, or OCD, whatever you want to call it. I'm also actually certified in QuickBooks Online. I thought that was important as I work with mostly accountants and bookkeepers and a lot of business owners as well. So at Studemy, we have all kinds of great content like this, and we're doing a little promotion for you right now. You can save 25 bucks on our annual Studemy membership. It's knocked down to $255, normally $280, and you get full access to everything. So I hope that if you are watching this and you are not a member, because we're allowing our public audience to view as well, you can sign up now for $255 annually or 28 bucks a month. You can try the free trial on the $28 monthly and see if you like it. Kick the tires. You'll be able to see the recording of this later. And then, of course, there's the Ignite program. A lot of you are members of the Ignite program, and what we do there is we help people grow their business. Startups who need a kickstart, who need some guidance, and they really need more clients, and just another person to talk to in the business to help grow that business. And also established pros who need to go to the next level, and experienced pros who are kind of at a point where they might need a little restart or a kick in the you-know-what. Anyone that wants to grow, Ignite, and just hit it out of the park, that's what Ignite is all about. And in the program, we explore what you're doing now, pull it all apart, put it back together, fix it, help you acquire new clients, and teach you how to close them. We help you build the model, pricing, the business itself, and conquer your workflow. And a really big one that's been very popular for us is confidence. Once again, my voice is very hoarse, so forgive me. And then, of course, it's all about making money. That's what Ignite is. Schedule your free consultation at 74systems.com. So I ask you, are you achieving all of your goals? We have to get up and do something each day. I was up at 4:30 this morning in the shower and at my desk at 5 a.m. because I had the kids sing. I wanted to make sure that I got an opportunity to get some work done prior. So I got up early and I got more done in those hours than probably I would have in the entire day. So go for it. Achieve your goals. And when you do, you'll raise the bar and continue to do more. And I always talk about good clients. There is nothing like having great clients that you look forward to working for, that enjoy paying you because you provide them great value. Do this. You might start off and have to sacrifice a little bit by finding clients that may not be an ideal fit for you, but do a great job, over-deliver, and grow your practice, your business, or whatever it might be. And eventually you can then cherry pick the best clients to focus on. And you have to make sure you charge them. One of my clients has recently shared with me that now that he's many years into his tax practice and lots of customers, and he just finished tax season, and he said, you know, Eric, it really struck home what you said to me in an Ignite session where you said, listen, are you charging enough to where when tax season's over, you've got enough money in the bank to pay your bills and live a good life? Or are you going to be disgruntled and tired and frustrated because of all the work you did? We don't want it that way. So make sure you bill fairly, but at the same time enough to make sure you can put your kids through college and live a comfortable and safe life. And more important than anything, I believe, is, are you having fun? You've got to have fun. And with a hoarse voice, it may be difficult to tell for those of you that don't know me, but I love to have fun, particularly in a webinar. And that is all based on this. Do you do what you love? If you don't do what you love, actually, you know what? Raise your hands if you do what you love. Raise your electronic hands. So let me tell you real quick. We have electronic raising of hands. We have electronic polls. We also have chat. If you put something in chat, everybody can see it. If you have a question for me, please write it in Q&A. I will be the only one that can see it, and I promise you that I will answer your question. I may stop and answer it as we go, or I may wait till the end, but don't wait to ask it, because then you'll forget it. And I look forward to answering your questions if there are any. So let's get started with How to Conference, and we're going to talk about the two events that are coming up. But again, as I mentioned, it applies to everything. And the key to preparing for such an event is to plan. And I cannot stress this enough. I mean, we're talking about every piece of the puzzle, planning to make sure that you get enough sleep before you get there and that you have enough time to relax and enjoy the experience. You've got to enjoy the ride, but planning will make that possible for you. If you don't plan, you'll be all caught up in everything and you'll be frustrated, and it'll be very difficult for you to get what you need to get out of the experience properly. You'll also miss a lot of opportunities, and you do not want to miss opportunities. You're spending a tremendous amount of money going to this event, and you've got the opportunity cost of not earning while you're there. So you've got to make the most of it. So plan everything, and I'm going to be touching on this topic throughout our webinar today. And it even goes as far as what you will wear. You know, I select my outfits, as you know, based on what's going on in the world. And quite frankly, I had a Dodgers hat on this morning because the Dodgers won yesterday, and I was very proud. But when I went to my two sons' sings today, they're in the same school, I switched to a Santa Barbara hat because it felt more appropriate for the audience. And I'm wearing it now because it means a lot to me. This is Santa Barbara All-Stars baseball, and you know that I believe a lot in what you wear in terms of how your marketing can really make a difference. I've talked often about, if you're an Ohio State fan and you walk into a Michigan Starbucks with a jersey that says Ohio State Buckeyes, you're going to get some attention. And I have to tell you, I have made more contacts and more friends because of that very situation, not necessarily in Michigan. But whenever I see somebody in Michigan colors, I always say hello to them and tell them I'm a Buckeye, and we always become pals. It's interesting how big rivalries like that can actually lead to friendship. But plan what you're going to wear. Are you going to go with the suit and tie thing? Are you going to go the Mike McAllowitz route and wear the vest? Are you going to go wearing a fun t-shirt or inspirational t-shirts, which typically you'll see me wear? Hustle and don't quit and never give up. All those types of things. Whatever your style is or whatever you feel like doing, make sure it's appropriate with the weather. You know, we're going to be in Las Vegas at ACCOUNTEX, which means it's a lot of air conditioning, a lot of indoors, but it's also relatively still warm outside. We're certainly not going to be back east, so we're going to dress appropriately. I'm not sure what I'm going to wear yet. Maybe it'll be a surprise. But the one thing I can guarantee you is I will take into account the fact that my body, your body in this case, is a billboard. And when I say your body is a billboard, I kind of pulled this from Seth Godin in Purple Cow. Great book. If you haven't read Purple Cow, you need to read Purple Cow. And I think the best way to kind of illustrate that is, this is my my two little boys here, and there's Angela, sorry, darling, and they're at In-N-Out Burger. And if you don't know what In-N-Out Burger is, I'm sorry for you, because this is, if you're going to eat a hamburger, this is the way you should do it. No preservatives, everything's ground fresh there, it's never frozen, yada, yada, yada. But what we're trying to point out here is those silly little hats. Look at them walking around in those little hats. Why do they give those hats out? So that they can crowdsource their marketing. Kids love those hats, and they will take them and they will wear them, and they will wear them until they're destroyed, and then they'll want to go back to In-N-Out Burger to get a hat. It's part of the process. That is using your body as a billboard. And in this case, it is In-N-Out Burger using our body. When I used to run a company called Make It Work, we had a fleet of red and white Mini Coopers. And that was why we were growing so fast, because everybody knew who we were. This was our 2008 boot camp that we did in conjunction with Verizon. And you can see here, we had, for the executive team or the management team, we had team jerseys made, and these were real football jerseys. You were proud to wear them. They were Nike, and they were really nice, and they said your name on the back, and we had special hats, as you can see, and that white hat was only for management. the team had read. We had very specific guidelines on what we did with our branding, and everybody was a part of it. Everybody knew who they were and what they were and why they were there, and they loved it. It was all about that brand because that brand stood for something important, but we expressed that brand on our vehicles, on our hats, on a badge, on our shirts, everywhere we possibly could. And when we show up at an event, this is an idea that we're working on right now for Studemy. And so I happen to have, okay, so as you can see, I'm wearing a white t-shirt, and there's a reason for that. And the reason is because I have this knack for showing up at a restaurant where there's a pasta sauce or a cioppino, which is my favorite, or salsa or anything with a tomato sauce, inappropriately dressed. I should be wearing a dark color because when I show up in white, I tend to leave with a spot. So I thought, how can I make something that would be applicable to me, that I would care about, that I could tell a story about, that I could wear, that would get attention and be funny, and people say, what is that? So I designed a pasta or a spot ready, a pasta ready, a salsa ready t-shirt, whatever you want to call it. It comes pre-stained with ketchup. I paid a lot of money for that ketchup stain from Adobe stock. And then on the back, you can see we've got some engagement and interaction. And I've talked with a number of you about doing this on your way. And by the way, those of you that just joined us, I apologize. I'm very hoarse. I don't normally sound like this. So in any event, there is a Sharpie that will be hanging from the belt of the person that has this. And it'll actually have a pull cord. And so they'll come up and they can mark on my shirt for me, or I can write on my shirt if I want to. If I'm faculty, I'll go ahead and check it. The point is everybody's shirt's going to be a little bit different. There's going to be engagement. We've got a number of these types of ideas going out with our clients right now so that they can get maximum engagement and interaction. You really want interaction where you can get somebody's business card. This is a great way to do it. So really think through this type of thing. And then it's not just your body, right? It could also be theirs. We make stickers. They're super inexpensive. And I don't know why people love them so much, but they do. They wanted to wear these. I've got so many pictures of these, but I think when it comes down to it, since I'm going to be at ACCOUNTEX and that's what we're talking about, let's put the big man himself up there. That's Doug Sleater of SleaterCon, now ACCOUNTEX. Loving his sticker. I'm not sure he knows it's there. Angela didn't do it, but I might have. This was at the, of course, Rule Breaker Awards, but he's smiling and it was a real fun time. We did the same thing to Mike Michalowicz, and it was a social media, just, you know, an amazing experience. It was all over the place. He plastered it. All right. So I'm going to launch our first poll here, and I want to ask you these questions. And so the first one is, did you attend Scaling New Heights this year? And did you attend XeroCon this year, the events that have already passed? Everybody vote for me, please. I'd appreciate it. Great. I need 2 more votes. 1 more vote. Okay. We don't need all of them, but that's good enough. 7 out of 8 works for me. Okay. Wonderful. And I appreciate that. So now, nope, now you've all voted. Okay, awesome. Oh, and there's more people joining. Perfect. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Great. Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and end that, and we'll let you know what happened here. So no on Scaling New Heights outdid yes. Interesting. But there were a few people there, but it's interesting to see that nobody on this webinar attended XeroCon. Raise your hand if you do Xero. Yep, that makes sense. Okay, we've got all into it, folks, I'm guessing here, or tax people. Okay, so when I say that you can use their body as a billboard, it's not just the billboard for the body or for a car or a hat. You can do it in all sorts of different places. Last year, these are our laptops on their way in for scanning, and here's this year's version. This is a massive way to get somebody to recognize you if they already know you or have heard of you, or a way for them to see your brand for the first time. If I flip open this laptop at our event or at a coffee table at one of these events, I guarantee you within 5 minutes, somebody I know will walk up, or somebody that recognizes the brand, or somebody will just walk up anyhow, because I'll be giving things away that are fun that they'll want to have, and therefore they will learn about my company as a result. Why not? That was a $25 sticker, and I got them from decalgirl.com. So there's a comparison of last year's and this year's. You can see we improved it a bit. It's great stuff. All right, another thing that I want you to do is I want you to practice. First, before you practice your elevator pitch, you've got to create one. You must have an elevator pitch. It's such an important piece of being in the public. If you, and this, the reason why the elevator pitch is called that is because when you're at one of these conferences, particularly in Las Vegas at the Mirage, and you leave the event and you get into the elevator and you see somebody else with a badge and they say to you, what do you do? You've only got a few floors, and those elevators are pretty fast. Maybe not at the Mirage, but in the newer hotels. And you've got only a limited amount of time. And once they hit ding, they're gone. You're never going to see that person again, possibly. So you need to get it down into a concise statement. And more importantly than concise, because it never has to be perfect, it has to be memorable. You have to say something about how, like for mine, it would be very simple, and I could do it a million different ways. And I have not practiced this, but I could just say, I work with a lot of accounting pros, and well, I just triple their sales. I am in the business of helping them ignite and grow their practice. And it's a heck of a lot of fun. Check out 74 Systems. If you forget, that's the average temperature of Santa Barbara. I could go on and on and on and on. Everything has a connection. But depending upon the number of floors we're going up, I can continue. Now, of course, I'll want to stop at some point and ask them for theirs. And more importantly, I'm going to ask them for a business card. And let's talk about that. For those of you that know me, excuse me, you know I don't normally sound like this. For those of you that know me, I say this often, going to an event and handing out business cards is a futile effort. It's a good thing, but at the same time, it's not going to bring you the kind of results that you could get if you're the one collecting the business cards and then following up accordingly. I know this sounds like simple practice, but when you get in that situation, you're in the elevator, you're at the event, you're sitting at a table, I'm just trying to get this ingrained in your head. I think what I'm going to do, I think my t-shirts this year are going to be, give me your business card. There we go. Perfect. That's going to be the perfect t-shirt. And people will walk up to me and hand them to me because they want to give them to me because they think I'm a potential customer. That's what it's going to be. I'm going to make a give me your business card t-shirt. Really cool. I've got an idea. Okay, so by getting their business cards, then I can process them. I can write notes on the back. I can take a picture of them. I can take a picture of the person holding their business card. Why not? I just did a event with Karen Woodman, who is the US finalist for Firm of the Future, Intuit's Firm of the Future. I met her at QB Connect. And guess what? When I asked her to jump in, I had forgotten, but I did a search and I found her picture in San Jose search inside of my photos that I took of her business card. I don't save business cards. You should scan them, you should take a picture, whatever it is. But taking a picture with the person holding them up, that might work well too. I was really, really excited today. I got an email through my website contact form from the PR department for Xero. And I have been asked to come to a VIP dinner with executive management. Awesome. When I got that, the first thing that popped into my mind, other than my ego being a little stroked, was, you know, that's exactly how it's done. They've got an entire team that are doing nothing more right now than going out and setting meetings to make the most of their time while these people who are coming in from wherever, CMO, CEO, CTO, that level, they're coming in from all over the world, New Zealand, Australia, UK, all over the country, to meet with people and get the most bang for their buck. I guess that was a pretty cool feather in my cap. But more importantly, seeing them do this starts my mind just racing and thinking, you know, I need to do the same thing. I need to reach out to anybody that I want to meet. Now, it's harder to meet going up, right? So if I wanted to meet with the CEO of Xero, who I know I've met, but if I would want to meet with him, it might be more of a challenge, but I'd like to build out my network. So let's set a realistic goal of the people that are willing to talk to you and listen. But don't fret sending out an email. If you think you have a value proposition to meet anybody in the room, I don't care who it is, but make sure you do. If you don't, then don't get yourself into a jam. Meet with the people that can best serve your needs, and you can return that favor. It's got to be reciprocal in certain circumstances, not always. But there has, usually when someone wants to meet an event, take time out of their day, they're looking for something that they can give and something that they can get. And just remember, every single person at this event is there for the same reason you are. Well, who knows what that is? Is it to expand your business? Is it to have fun? Is it because you're a gambler? It's in Vegas, right? We're talking about ACCOUNTEX. San Jose, I don't know why you'd go to San Jose. Pretty neat city. They've got some cool stuff. It's fun. I'll tell you, the QB Connect, the whole thing there with the hotels and everything, it's a lot of fun. But whatever your reason is, just keep that in mind, okay? That everybody is there for the same purpose. It's business. When you get on an airplane or you're standing at the terminal or you're doing something and you can tell somebody is there working, generally they're more apt to talk business or engage, or they're simply not, but they might be, versus if you're at the grocery store. Somebody at the grocery store just might not be thinking business. You know, I bumped into I won't mention his name, a famous basketball player once at a restaurant here in town. My kid's a big star in the basketball team at the time. I waited for his family to go into the other room when they went in the bathroom, and I just reached over real quick and I said, hey, can I get a quick autograph? My kid's an all-star. And he was really rude about it. And I thought to myself, you know, whatever, you know, without the fans, what would he be? But hey, he's had dinner with his family. You approach people at dinner and they're, you know, with their family, you get a different response than when you're at an event. Now, I know confidence is something that we all want more of, even me, but you've got to let yourself out of your shell and introduce yourself to people, because that's what this event is all about. It's huge for networking. If you can't do it during the day, then head to the bar at the Fairmont at QB Connect, because I guarantee you, you will loosen up in that room. It is a blast. And I have met more people there, and some of them are actually here with me today, than you can possibly imagine. Do not get on that plane, in your car, on the train, or walk across the street from your house to the hotel in Vegas until you have truly set some goals for what you wish to accomplish. Remember that you are leaving your job, which is earning money. So there's that. There's the money you're not going to make, and the disdain that some of your clients might feel with you being out. Hopefully not, but it doesn't help your business when you're not there. You're not accessible, right? And then you're going to spend money to get to this event. When you get to the event, you're not going to be earning, you're spending, so get the most out of it. And the way you do that is by setting a goal. Why are you there? I want to meet X number of people, and fill in the X. Do you want to meet 10 people? Do you want to meet 100 people? What type of people? Let's go through a couple. So first, set your primary goal. Are you looking for partners? Are you looking for customers? Are you looking for knowledge? Are you looking for love? Be honest with yourself. If you're just going because you need to get away from the kids and you need a break in Vegas and you might as well go there because it's a tax write-off, admit it to yourself. But go with that in your mind, okay? Don't lie to yourself, because at the end of the day, you're not going to even have any fun because you're going to be guilt-ridden. But if you're there for the same reason most people are, and that's to go to the bar, I kid, of course, then if you're there for the networking and the knowledge and expanding your business and building your confidence and all the things that we go to conferences for, and just learning what's going on in the industry and staying cutting edge to become the firm of the future, the next one, right? Then you've really got to make sure that whatever that is in your mind is clear, so that your objective when you're in the midst of a conversation or you're traveling or you're doing anything is clear in your mind. So you don't feel bad when somebody says to you, hey, you know, I'm really interested in this. And you think to yourself, I'm not. You serve me no value. In your head, you're thinking this. So you say, you know, it's really nice to meet you. I would love to chat offline. I've got a limited amount of time here, and this isn't in my mission statement. Make one, a mission statement. This isn't in my mission statement for why I'm here this week, but I would love to chat with you later. Here's my card. That's a great way if you don't want to necessarily call them ever. You give them your card, and they'll probably call you, and you can do with it however you want. Or ask them for their card, and you don't have any cards. It's up to you. The point is, make sure that you communicate to people what your goal is, because that goal is clear in your mind, so that you don't waste time. It's okay to say no. Absolutely. Primary goal, set it. And then figure out how many people you want to meet, what kind of people, for what purpose, how you're going to meet them. Can you meet everybody? No. We have limited time, limited resources. You got to figure that out. How? How will you meet them? Will it be while you're carousing about at the food lines? Will it be when you're in an event where you can't really talk inside of the, when you're at a keynote or something or a course, but you can inside of the expo rooms, outside at restaurants? The parties are usually where you're going to meet the most people, but be careful because people start drinking, they start having fun, and you know, a good conversation can go kind of sideways. You want to make sure that you can meet with people and find a spot in the hotel, like a Starbucks or something, where you can go and sit down and talk to somebody for 10 minutes. Find the spot that looks comfortable to you. And if you bump into somebody that you think is worth talking to and their game, say, hey, you know what, let's go over here. Get yourself out of it and get it done and get going to the next one. Limit your spending. The opportunity cost of being there, not earning, and going to this event and spending money all together, it can be a lot when you come back. Very stressful. Be very careful how you spend. You can eat at the event most of the time, but don't be shy to go out to dinner with a group of people if you think that's of value to your business. Just be careful. Plan it accordingly. You don't have to spend a fortune on marketing materials and swag. Swag is stuff we all get, right? This is the stuff people give to us. Some of it's great, some of it not so much. You know that I'm an Untitled hero. Untitled sent me one of these power bars along with all sorts of other things. I'm holding on to this thing. This is actually useful if you can afford something like this. But if you give somebody some, I'm not a big fan of pens. I don't really have many. You want to give me an Apple Pencil with your logo on the side of it, I'd be game for that, or some headphones or some chapstick or something I can actually use, a water bottle. T-shirts are obviously fun, hats and other things. But you know, things like stickers are very inexpensive, and if you don't have the budget, you can do those. Be very careful how you spend your money. Now, let me ask you, I'm going to do another poll. So I asked you what events you've been to. Now we're going to talk about what events you're actually going to go to coming forward here. Those of you that are going to be at QB Connect this year, ACCOUNTEX, let us know. Those of you that'll be at Scaling New Heights and ZeroCon next year. If you think you're going to be there, pick yes. Or choose it. This is a multiple choice. Great, great. Okay, keep voting. Need everybody in here. Wow, not a lot of interest in Zero. Okay, that is phenomenal. I am surprised. Now, I do notice ACCOUNTEX looks like it's edging out Scaling New Heights, and I think that's interesting. QB Connect is clearly the #1. And I'm curious, that's probably because our audience is Intuit focused. Scaling New Heights and QB Connect, I've heard QB Connect is a lot of fun. I've been twice. I've never been to Scaling New Heights. Is it fair to say, raise your hand if QB Connect is more fun than Scaling New Heights, if you know? Yeah, Yeah, those are the two that, oh, wow. Okay, perfect. All right, there's a few of you in there that I know, and that's cool to see. All right, so QB Connect it clearly looks like it's the more fun version. Folks, I'm going to tell you, I had a blast at XeroCon, and it was refreshing to see something new. I urge you to check that out. Try something different. I'm a big fan of that product. All right, let's move back to our focus here. So are you there to learn or other reasons? If you are, plan that part now, because I'm going to tell you something. Those guides are very confusing, and there's all this hustle and bustle, and you're distracted constantly, and there's just, lots of stuff going on. That's one of the hardest things to do. And yeah, they give you the app and they give you the little thing to flip up, but you need to plan, because you'll bump into situations where you won't be able to get into one and you have to go somewhere else. So plan what you want to see. I'm not a big fan of keynotes. I don't do a lot of the presentations. I go there to hang out in the expo floor and the network. That's my focus. My clients are accounting professionals. You are going to be there probably for a different reason. If you're like me, though, you probably don't want to spend too much time in the learning environment. You want to spend more time in the networking. Get a little, though, so you have something in common to talk about with everybody. If it's just a vacation, take a vacation. Have some fun. Be the life of the party. I know somebody here that's on this webinar right now is definitely the life of the party, and I hope she makes it. I hope I get to see her at one of these events again. But go there with that mindset. And if it's just a social gathering of you getting together with your friends and strengthening relationships that you've already built, go for it. Know that that's the reason. You know what? You never know what might come from that. And if you don't plan this thing, I promise you, you are going to miss things, okay? You may have a great show, but if you plan it, you're going to get more out of it. Now, I also want to talk to you about what you're going to do after. So you've gone to this event, you've gathered business cards, you've set your goal, which is I want to add 5 new partners, 50 new partners, maybe find a few clients. I want, in my case, it would be new Ignite clients, Studemy members. So let's use me for an example. When I go to ACCOUNTEX, my goal is to get 100 new signups at Studemy and maybe 10 new Ignite clients over the course of time. Very reasonable goals. And what I would do to do that is I would promote both businesses in a different way. I've got an expo booth, and I would talk to people about both. Studemy is self-paced learning, lots of videos, webinars, things of that nature. The Ignite program is one-on-one, hardcore, let's focus, and let's kick your business in gear and make you lots of money, because if I make you lots of money, you'll keep paying me some of it. I pay for myself. That's the mentality of my program, and it's a really good place to be in because my clients keep paying if we're doing well. So I'm going to make a list of people, and I might put an A and an I next to them on their business cards if they're more than likely an Studemy potential client or a member, which is $28 a month to me, versus an Ignite member who could be anywhere from $1,300 to $10,000 or more on a monthly basis. And those are the kind of clients that I want to a certain level, but ultimately I'd also like to have thousands and thousands of Studemy members. So I work both of them and they kind of play into each other. So I would send emails out to the ones with the A's, and I would send emails out to the ones with the I's with different types of things on them. And I would invite them to free events, and I would share with them new ideas, and I would put them into separate lists. Now, one of the things that you want to be careful with is if you come back with a whole bunch of business cards and you didn't make notes, or you made your notes somewhere else, and you don't really know who they are, you're going to find you're in a bind. It's overwhelming. So coming up with either scanning the business cards, taking a picture, making a note, each night when you go into your room, sit down and go through it so that you don't have a ton of work to do when you get back. You can very easily take one of these books that, it's interesting too. This one is from TED. I was given this at TED. This is called a dot grid journal. We all have these little fun little notebooks. I've got Intuit ones, I've got Insightly ones. And these are great to have with you to take notes. And, you know, you could very easily take a business card and you could just put the business card, either paper clip it to one of these pages, and then make notes about the customer, potential, the prospect, whatever partner, and then either staple it or tape it or paper clip it, and then move on to the next one. And, you know, I think if somebody saw you doing that, they might actually say, you know, that's a pretty neat idea. And you can tell them where you learned it. So come up with some sort of a follow-up strategy, because that pile of business cards, it can be a lot to deal with. And you know that I'm a big fan of Untitled, and as a result of that, they have a pretty neat little system where it allows you to scan a business card and it will create a contact. Now, the key to that, if you're going to use it, is make sure you go in and make notes about the contact immediately after you scan it, because that is a perfect situation electronically. If you feel uncomfortable with this and you think you're going to get in a bind, don't waste your time. Don't do it. Go back and do this way. You know, this is okay. And you don't hear me say that a lot, but when you're in a bind and you really need to collect data and you need to do it quickly, you don't want to have a system that is going to make you nervous. You just want to have something that will work. Worst case scenario, bring a cool little pen, fine point, but that is like Sharpie style, and you can write on any color or anything and write on their business card. And maybe before you go, make a plan and put little codes in your book of what different things mean to you, like a 1 to 10 rating of potential, or are they a potential partner versus client, so a P versus a C. Make a little legend for yourself and learn it. Real simple. And you will find that you will come out of this event thinking, wow, this is completely different. I've never done anything like this. I actually think I'm going to make money because of going there. And that's refreshing. I don't think a lot of people feel that way about their events. All right, so the other thing, there's a few of these that we want to talk about. One of them is setting a budget. And you're all good at this, right? You're accounting professionals. But it is San Jose, away from home. It's fun. It's expensive. It's Las Vegas for ACCOUNTEX. That could be dangerous. If you're a gambler, remember, drinks are free. Be careful with that type of stuff. If you don't care, then have fun. But just know what you're setting yourself up for. This is a business trip. You can't write off your gambling losses. And if you think you're going to win at the tables, let me just tell you, stop. Look around at all the stuff that they've got in that hotel. They win. I guarantee it. Okay. Not that I have any experience in the matter. At these events, the one thing that you really need to take into account is that the people that are in attendance, wow, we got a bunch more people. Folks, I'm very hoarse in my voice, and I apologize. I don't normally sound like this. Those of you that don't know me, I see a lot of names I don't recognize. So I will share that with you now. We've got one more poll that we're going to do in just a moment, but sit tight on that. Okay, so when you go to these accounting events, you've got to appreciate the fact, and those of you that are in ABO, we're all friendly and we help each other in a lot of ways, but everybody in ABO and everybody at these events generally are competitors. You're going to go spend all this time with thousands of your competitors. For what purpose? They're not going to give you business. They're going to watch what you're doing and take business away from you. You're there to learn. You're there to make friends. There's plenty of business for us all. But at the same time, keep that in mind. If you've got a new secret tactic for closing deals, you might not want to share that with a group at the bar that night. Booze can be truth serum, so be careful. Okay? Remember who is around you. Your host, in a situation like QB Connect, Intuit wants you to learn more about their products and become a better ProAdvisor or bookkeeper or accounting professional or IRP or whatever it is you are. I joke about it. It's a coup. You spend the money, you come, you pay them to be there. They provide some amazing resources and entertainment, so to speak. and a great avenue for networking. But at the end of the day, mostly your competitors, as I mentioned, you leave one of these events like QB Connect mostly with knowledge and connections, but I don't know if those connections are necessarily for all of you the best thing. And so no one understands what their intentions are. The reason why I like ACCOUNTEX is because when you go to an event like that, there is no kingpin. There's no one brand that says, this is our event. Everybody's welcome. We're all in the same pool together there. And while the event sponsor wants to make money just by you being there, and they want people to have a good result because they want you to come back next year and they want to be able to bring back all of the same vendors, but they're not necessarily there so you can pay them so that you can then grow their business further like you would at a XeroCon or a Sage Summit or QB Connect. So ACCOUNTEX is a very different animal. I think it makes the most sense from an ROI perspective. Plus you get more of a broad brush stroke on the information in the industry. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this probably is a no. You're probably not going to work remotely. But if you need to, set aside the time and beware of the fact that you might be tired, you might be distracted. Remember that when you go to a hotel, grab a pen, make a note of this. Don't forget this. Remember when you go to a hotel, more often than not, the first night you go to bed, the pillows weren't right, the temperature wasn't right, the air conditioning was blowing on your face, and one of your eyelids was stuck open. There's always something, right? You didn't sleep well, or you slept too much. But the point is, you're not in your normal circumstances. You may be amped up, excited. You might have got in late. You might have stayed up too late. You might have had too much to drink. You might have eaten food you wouldn't normally eat, and you're not feeling great. Be prepared to deal with those types of things and plan accordingly. I mean, ideally, we should get up early in the morning and go for a run and eat all kinds of organic foods and have a green juice and not drink and not eat any red meat and all this stuff. But in reality, we're in Vegas, and when in Vegas, okay, so, or San Jose. San Jose has some amazing restaurants. I pretty much ate myself into a coma one of the nights there. So, and I know Carrie Kahn, who's with us here today. Carrie Kahn, raise your hand if you remember that restaurant where we pretty much wanted to just lay down in the midst of our meal. It was absolutely fantastic. They started turning the lights on as we were eating, but we had fun and we were celebrating success and new friendships and relationships. And that was a meeting where I was there with my client, Carrie, who's with us today. She's an IRP and she'll be there. And I was there because I was building our relationship, and it didn't take long. We had a blast. And of course, Paula ate all the chocolate. Those of you that know Carrie understand what I'm talking about, but let's use Carrie as an example. Carrie is an IRP, one of the couple hundred reseller partners of Intuit. It's the fastest growing partner program. You know who helped her with that perhaps, but she's #1 in the East, and she's booming, and she's living this wonderful life, and things are going great for her. Why is she at QB Connect? Looking for partners. She's looking for other pro advisors and bookkeeping professionals who want to join her partner program. And because when they meet Carrie, she's a sweetheart, and her team, and they learn her value proposition, she's got a very high closing ratio because she basically takes QuickBooks Pro Advisors and helps them make more money without it costing them anything. It's stuff that they should have been earning on their own, but they couldn't because they didn't have a relationship like this. Hers is a perfect fit for QB Connect. So in her case, she can ramp up the spend, she can ramp up the time, she can have to work 14-hour days. I mean, it's exhausting. I've been there with her. It's quite an experience, but the results can be phenomenal. And we can forecast the results for Carrie based on experience from before and get a pretty reasonable idea of what kind of thing we're going to get. Now, sharing that, what we talked about earlier, and using Carrie as an example, one of the things we did at QB Connect is we planned and we had an event set up for partners that we invited so that they could come to the event, learn about what Carrie's program was. She had wine and beer and snacks and a room set up, And the whole thing was ready to rock and roll. And she had her partners there, and she had us there, and she had some friends there for support. And it was a smashing success. Carrie overplans, and that's why she is achieving so well. She also knows the limitations of her abilities, and she partners with wonderful and talented people. And that was no feather in the cap joke there. I'm just saying she gets it. If you work with Carrie, you know what I mean. Okay, so let's move on. And then there's the opportunity cost. Now let's be frank here. You know that going to one of these events, you're going to lose money. You're going to lose business. You're not home selling, but you're building for the future. Can you swallow that? Can you handle that? Keep that in mind. Opportunity costs are often overlooked in marketing and building a business. Very, very, very important part of the puzzle. Okay, I don't see any questions yet. If you do have questions, now is the time to ask. If you have any marketing ideas, if you're looking for some swag ideas, if you're what should your t-shirt say? We came up with some awesome ideas on t-shirts this morning in our Astute Trusted Advisors group for our members. If you're looking for other ways and other goals that you want to set, ask a question in Q&A now. So let me tell you, all of these events that we do are recorded. This one is being recorded now. And at this point, we don't offer CPE, but we're hoping to in the near future. If that happens, we will let you know. These recorded webinars go up on our site usually within 48 hours, and we have something that's brand new, podcasts. And can't always watch it, so you can listen. These will both be available within 48 hours at the conclusion. Let's talk about what's coming next. You guys are going to love this stuff. We've got some great ones coming. Those are all my kids, not my burritos, but a local woman in town. And, you know, I get in this discussion often with people that Facebook is about babies and burritos. It's about sharing sentiments. It's about sharing ideas and political views and things of that nature. And you know what? You're right. It is. All these pictures have been on Facebook. But it's also about building relationships. One of my colleagues and a good friend of mine actually texted me last night, and he said, "Hey man, I'm getting into a new business. You know, I'm very loud on Facebook, and I'm not sure if I should simmer down a bit so that I don't alienate certain potential business partners, clients, prospects." And I said, well, I'll be honest with you. Here's how I'd look at it. If you do come across and say, I'm Trump or I'm Hillary, whatever it is, I mean, at some point they were pretty close to 50-50. If you come out hard, there's going to be a certain percentage of the public that's going to say, I'm not interested in doing business with you. If that's something that's really important to you, you can't sell out. You got to be who you are. But at the same time, is that important? I'm not sure. So he decided to lighten it up a little bit. And I said, that's a pretty good idea. But let me just share with you this one bit of business. 99% of the revenue in my company, and there's a pretty significant amount of it, 99% of it comes from Facebook. So do not miss this webinar. Now, before I go on to the next one, I'm going to launch our last poll. I think you guys will like this one. This is a checklist. I want you to check off the items that you have ready. Do you have your goals clearly set for the events? Do you have your elevator pitch ready? Is your agenda for learning completed? You have meetings scheduled, even if you're thinking about these things. A method to capture email and contacts, updated business cards, a budget, a follow-up strategy. Let me know. Let's get everybody to vote here. Everybody vote, please. I appreciate it. It really makes a difference when you vote. I don't know who you are here. I'm not going to disclose that. I just want to see the numbers. And get everybody into the soup here. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So it's interesting to see updated business cards are done. Good for you. Your agenda for learning, okay, so a lot of you, your goals are clearly set and your agenda for learning are completed. So I'm guessing that a lot of you are focused on going there to learn, because that's primarily what QB Connect in that particular instance would be for, and for that matter, ACCOUNTEX if you're an accounting professional, because as we mentioned, it's your competition. So those are the top ones in my mind. And I want to make sure that if you don't have any of those things done, that you do them. And if you did do them better. You still got time. Take advantage of it and make sure you're ready. Okay, then the next event after that is business formation. Now, this is a very important event for you, because this event is actually for you as an accounting professional to be able to add a new service, very much like what you do with Carrie Kahn, you'll now be able to do with CorpNet, Nellie ACAL, and the two of them are good buddies. So that's going to be a very good thing for everybody. You can now offer these types of services, or at least get a commission for providing them through CorpNet, rather than just sending your clients off to form their LLCs and not get paid for it. They're going to get better service because this is extraordinary, and you're going to come first, and you're going to get paid for it. Who wouldn't want that? It's a great event. Don't miss it. Learn about it. And there she is, Carrie Kahn, QuickBooks Desktop 2017 unboxing on Halloween. Boo. And this, by far, the most popular event ever in the history of Astudemy. Pricing your practice. Everybody needs this. Of those on right now, raise a hand if you think you'd attend this event. Boom, 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 boom. Excellent. Okay. Well, I appreciate all of you being here today. That concludes our presentation. You have been a fabulous audience, and I look forward to seeing you at our next Astudemy live webinar. Thank you.